Hey everybody, Robert here. I wanted to record a video today because today is my 36th birthday. I was born September 5th, 1985. So that means I have lived to see 7 presidential administrations and several wars and several mass catastrophes and financial collapses and all kinds of shit. And I feel like recently has been a very introspective time for me. 34 and 35 for me were very inward looking contemplative ages. And over the last year, especially, I've been thinking a lot about where my life is and where I'm going. And basically, I'm turning 36, which I don't consider myself old, but on the road of life, I see the signposts for middle age, and I know that I'm going to be having to make some turns coming up. And if I want to get where I'm going, I need to make sure they're the right ones. So, current situation as it stands. I have struggled with depression and anxiety on and off since high school, basically. I've been on several different medications, different attempts, different therapists, and it's been a struggle to get medications right and everything and find out what works best with my unique physiology. And my depression and anxiety have kicked up quite a bit in the last 18 months, as I'm sure a lot of people have had similar issues with being in such a stressful situation as we are just commonly in now. But I've been in this last 6 months or so working on trying to get some medication stuff sorted out, and for a while I was on one that made me so nauseous I couldn't eat, and I lost about 20 pounds. One of them was just messed up my digestive system. Other stuff I've tried in the past has just had all kinds of side effects that no need to get into. Anybody who has been on antidepressants knows what you're dealing with there. But very recently, though, I have changed to a new medication regime, and I feel optimistic, I should say, for the first time. I don't want to say hopeful, but optimistic, because the regimen I'm on, I feel like the medication is working very well for the primary effect, and there aren't any major side effects. I mean, there's always side effects with anything, but they're a lot better than the previous medications I've been on. So I think for the first time in a long time, I've got my head in the kind of space where I can work on moving forward in my life, because I am 36 and the current situation in my life is not ideal. We'll just say that. My day consists of driving my 99 Corolla with the broken windshield 30 minutes to and from work, making 15 and change for somebody to profit off of my work, with no benefits or anything. So I'm paying for health insurance out of pocket, and come home to a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that I share with 3 other adults and a child. The house needs some repairs that I haven't been able to afford to make. In the garage where I am right now, the ceiling has basically just collapsed in on itself now, and we're going to call it a loss and at some point just tear it down, because it's beyond repair. But yeah, even with the additional incomes from my roommates, it's still been living paycheck to paycheck. The pandemic really messed with a lot of people's stuff, including one of my roommates' work situation. My wife, she had to change her job too. It's just been very stressful all in the last so many months. But as I said, I feel like now I'm a little bit more mentally equipped, and I've been working with some more personal wellness routines. Been trying some like mindfulness meditation, but it's very difficult because the anxiety brain, you know. But yeah, I would say on the plus side, I have a very loving family. I have an amazing wife and a just genius, smart daughter who's probably smarter than I am in a lot of ways, and who I feel disappointed every day that I haven't been able to provide for her the level of life that I've wanted to. Because, I mean, I don't want to blame it on, you know, other world situations, but I graduated college in 2008, right before the housing market crashed and the recession hit, and I've barely been able to find any jobs in my field that haven't been already farmed out to graphic designers in India or something, you know. It's just the economy has changed around in such a way that I need to adapt from what I had been planning originally to do. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I did get some things figured out about the direction I want my life to go in, and I want to change video game designer from an aspirational goal on the top of a Facebook page to an actual job title. I've been working with Unreal Engine on and off, you know, but as I said, the depression and the health issues and stuff has just been kicking my ass, and just haven't had any energy to get anything done, any kind of drive to do anything. But I feel like that's turning around a bit, and I want to make some meaningful progress toward a goal of no longer working for someone else and earning the entirety of my income from game design and game design related things like, you know, merch or Patreon donations and stuff, that kind of thing. So, and I've realized that the way that I learn how to do things has kind of been a part of the stumbling block with trying to get into game design, because I've been trying to sit down and watch videos and take Udemy classes and learn how to make it that way. But like, I've just never been able to sit very still in a lecture hall and listen to a teacher and learn that way. I always have to just do something myself for it to stick in my head. That's how I've learned how to fix my car, is because I can't afford to take it somewhere. I have to figure out how to fix it myself. That's how I learned Photoshop and graphic design skills, is from originally doing Heroes Inc., starting that right after high school and working on that for a decade. I think I learned more about Photoshop from making sprite comics than I ever did from any professor in college. But yeah, I think that what I need to do is, in order to learn how to make the games that I want to make, which I have quite a few good ideas that I want to get to, but I don't feel like I have the skills to work on yet. I'm just going to have to start by jumping into a project and work on one of the games that I want to make that would be mechanically easy and fairly straightforward to produce, and just build the plane as I'm flying it, basically. That's what I did with Heroes Inc. That's what I did with you know, graphic design. But yeah, I just need to learn by doing. So I'm going to be working on the first Gem Studios release coming up, is called The Gardener File, which is a it's going to be basically a point and click adventure kind of game, first person adventure. There's going to be a mystery in a old church that you have to go and find clues and get keys and unlock doors and get information for your client to find out the mystery behind his daughter's death. And I'm going to use a Unreal Engine template that I found specifically for horror games, but it's functionally complete for the type of game that I want to make, and it will work very easily to drag and drop components and just swap things out and change things as I go. I think that'll be the best learning platform for me, will be actually producing the first game. And as I go and I learn how things work, and I can build levels and I can build the blueprints and stuff by tearing these other engine apart, and then figuring out how things work on the back end that way. And that's how I've always done things. I've just poked and prodded at the software or the hardware until I figured out, oh yeah, this thing does this. And actually I've been able to make a couple of pretty decent looking landscapes in the last couple of days, just playing with Unreal Engine and looking at some online written tutorials. Like the video tutorials are still kind of a pain, but followed some of the written tutorials and turned out pretty good for a couple of them. And I think that's a good start. I'm going to work on some small projects that are not specifically the big games I want to release, but like maybe some little stuff, just using the same engines as some other stuff to build some mechanical demos, basically, figuring out how the systems work. Also do some, artistic kind of pieces, just scenes and stuff to post for sharing. But my goal is to overcome my perfectionism and get myself out there by actually making stuff and showing it, because my biggest hurdle in getting anything done has always been myself and my own perfectionism and my own thought that my work is not good enough yet to show it to somebody else. And I came across a quote that is attributed to G.K. Chesterton, a philosopher from, I think, the 1900s, that is, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. And I really latched onto that, and I think that's going to be Gem Studios' kind of motto going forward, is that if there's something that you want to do or something that needs done, it's better to do it and do it poorly and held together with duct tape and good hopes than it is to leave it undone entirely and never get to it. I mean, that's something I kind of have learned in my own home repairs and stuff. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the garage roof, so since I didn't do it at the time when it was easier to do, I won't be able to do anything with it. So I don't want that to be how my career turns out. And as it stands, I have been basically afraid of failure in so much as I don't want to attempt to do something for fear that it will be perceived as a failure. And that's I found that's a common issue among former gifted kids, people who were reading at college level in second grade and went to the special class to put together tessagrams and such, and everything came easy to me when I was really young, so anything that took a lot of work was very difficult for me to find any interest in, and I gave up quickly. And a lot of projects I've started in the past, I have made very little progress in because I've given up quickly after not meeting with immediate success. So what I'm going to work on myself, on my personal, just on my personal mindset, is that I need to be able to make it and get it out there if I'm ever going to improve to get to the point that that I can make the games that I want to make later, right? And I need to make some crappy games because I'd rather be the game designer with a couple of shitty titles at the beginning of his resume than the guy who's still making less than 16 an hour, printing t-shirts basically for somebody else. And I don't want to be working for someone else, putting my creative talents to their profit, in the time I'm 40. So I have a goal now, and my goal is laid out with kind of a sequence of events, if not a firm schedule for how I want to proceed. And I feel like I'm working on doing that pretty well right now, working on some of the little sample projects on Unreal, and I want to work on trying to get my artwork out there in front of as many eyes as possible, so I can potentially find that tiny segment of the general public that will find my stories and my games interesting. Because it's another thing that comes along with my my personal self-loathing, if it were, that I don't consider my stuff, worthwhile or attractive or anything, but it's what somebody has said, you're not ugly, you're just not your own type. And I think I see a lot of that, and that I can pick apart the flaws in my own stuff real easy, but I could still make people happy with it if I can actually finish it and get it out there. And that's my problem, is getting things finished and out there. But I have now a actual timeline kind of written out of the games that I want to work on, and it's right here, and I want to cover that in a video, for those who are actually very interested in following me. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that I have also always had a problem with, is asking for help when I need it. And so that's kind of what this video is. I am asking for help in that I do not have the kind of wherewithal socially to get my stuff out and spread really great. I have a few friends that like my stuff every now and then, but I need to get my stuff out in front of people, and I'd like the handful of people who do see this that might find it interesting to at least look at supporting me in a more material sense than just thumbs up every now and then. Like, I set up a Patreon last year, and I never really used it a whole lot because, you get to a certain point and just kind of lose interest when nobody's actually looking at it. So I haven't posted anything on there in about a year, but I have it set up so it's only like $10 a month. I mean, that's like the cost of going to Taco Bell once a month. I mean, if you appreciate the work that I have done in the past, if you like my photography, if you like me for my writing or for my comics or for anything like that, if you think I'm a funny guy and you want to see some funny stories that I'm putting into games, if you want to see some cool landscapes that I end up doing in 3D stuff on Unreal, maybe consider giving me a Taco Bell meal a month worth of donation and see how that goes. And if you find it interesting, great. If you don't, whatever. But my plan here is that I don't want to be working for someone else by the time I'm 40. So by the end of 2022, I want to have at least one game on Steam. And then by my 40th birthday, which would be 2025, I want to be wholly employed and funded, having my life funded through my own video game design. And I feel like that's an achievable goal, and it's only achievable though if I can get some help from the people who have helped me in the past by liking my stuff and sharing my stuff, to continue to do so and share it with people who you think might be like, oh yeah, this guy has some cool ideas for video games, I want to give him a couple bucks a month. Share it with your rich aunts and uncles. Share it with your gamer friends who want to see some behind the scenes stuff, because that's what I'm going to be doing on the Patreon. Is going to be behind the scenes of the game development and the game design and the level design and all that. The Patreon is going to be like an insiders club, I call it the World Builders Club, because I'm doing the building worlds thing. And if people want to watch while I do that and see stuff in progress, I think that I should find the people that are willing to pay for that access and give it to them. So my plan now is to build some games and do it completely in the public eye and show everybody, well, not public and a paywalled eye, but completely make these games available for anybody who wants to see me make them, and get them out there to get a following of people who are following me not only just for the actual game, but because they find the game design process interesting and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what my goals are going forward. Is over the next year, it is going to be working on skill building and the first game, and also getting my name out there a little bit more. I want to get onto some other forums other than, my one little Facebook page and DeviantArt, which nobody ever goes to anymore, and stuff like that. But I think I've been looking at some of the stuff on Reddit, and I think I can get some attention there. I've been looking at some other forums for the Unreal stuff, and I'd love to, at some point get to the point where I'd be looking into getting an Unreal, the Epic grants that they have to do development, and that would be amazing. But one step at a time, I guess. Right now we're just building content and working from there. So I'm going to be recording another video here soon. It's going to be kind of a walkthrough of this world that I'm wanting to build, which I'm calling the Robertverse, for lack of a better name. It's going to be a shared universe between a bunch of different games that tells a story, I guess kind of an overarching story throughout a couple different things over the course of about 20,000 years. And there's going to be games set in the past and in the future and in the present, and it's an alternate world where there's some major events that have changed the course of history, and robot uprisings and catastrophes and apocalypses and all kinds of fun stuff. But it's all going to be linked together and supposed to kind of tell one big grander story that I want to get out there. And it's going to include some of the stuff that I've already announced and put pictures of online, like Lily of the Uncanny Valley and Department 13, the Gardner File, which I already mentioned. But it's also going to have some other projects in there that I haven't really announced or anything yet. But it's a grand ambition that I feel like it's going to take me a long time to achieve. But I feel like if I can get some support in doing it, I can get it done. I feel, for the first time, I feel confident in my my mental capacity to keep working forward, whereas I had not quite as much in the past. Just mainly because I feel like I have a direction I'm going toward. I know what I need to do and how I need to do it, and now that I feel like I'm getting things sorted, then I can actually do that. So and any assistance I can gain along that road would be swell. So if you're really interested in my game design, I would suggest you check out my Patreon. I am going to be putting a link to that in the description for this video. And if you're interested in supporting the arts just as supporting me as a person, maybe, I have a merch store that has a lot of my photography, that has prints available, and a lot of my art designs available on shirts and things. And it's on Redbubble, so you can check that out, and that's also going to be linked in there. And if you want to support me those ways, that's great. If you have some other ideas of what you might want to do, if you have some friends who do music that might want to put some music in a game, or some friends who are game designers who might want to help collaborate, I'm open to suggestions at this point. I'm trying to work through the whole social anxiety and fear of change being worse than the mediocrity that it is currently. And to get out of that mediocrity, I need to get some other people on board with me on this. So if you're interested, check that out. If not, then you can just keep following on the Facebook or on the YouTubes that I've got pictures and videos that I'm going to be sharing on, and you can see the new games when they come out, and I'll be posting other artwork there. But if you're interested in the behind the scenes stuff, Patreon's where you want to be, and I will be posting a video there shortly that I'm going to be going through this release schedule, as it were. Going through a little bit of the process of what games I'm doing in what order, and why I'm doing them in that order, and what skills I need to learn to make those games, and a little bit of the story, if not too spoilery, about the overarching major story. So if you're interested in that, again, Patreon, check that out. It'll be there shortly. So I got to record another video for that. But anyway, it's Labor Day weekend, so if you're watching this, thank you for watching, and I hope you had a fun Labor Day weekend. Have a hot dog on my behalf, because I don't have any barbecues to go to this year. So yeah, have a pleasant day.